We are live. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Blake Rufino. This is Are You Serious Sports? I hope that you guys are making it a good one. I know that we are as well. God dog it, does it feel good to be back. We ain't been in this thing since Thursday, y'all. God bless America. God bless America. Garth Brooks saying it better than I did, though. Shout out to Garth Brooks. Call Baton Rouge. All right. When Garth Brooks hit that LSU, the stadium started shaking. Anyway, but it's good to be back. Huge show in store for y'all tonight. The Honey Badger is returning. If you've missed the news, if you've been living under a rock, as Will Wade used to say before he got fired, Tyrann Mathieu is returning home to the New Orleans Saints. So looking forward to and excited for the Badger. We will talk on that and what impact he makes not only for the state or not only for the Saints, but the entire state of Louisiana. Also, if you missed it, the NFL draft was this weekend. As my good friends over the Golden Boot podcast would say, Ed Orgeron altar call is around the corner. Or as we say it here on AYS, a Ruffinos rant's around the corner. And, oh, by the way, why Brian Kelly and the realistic expectation of why LSU should and could and maybe and will, whatever adjective you want to put on it, should go 9-3 next season. I will tell you why. Oh, Blake, LSU just doesn't have the talent. Says whom? It's been the biggest load of bullshit that we have heard over the last 2 years from the mumbling, bumbling, stumbling, blonde-headed, loving Ed Orgeron. If you're asking me if I'm pissed off, you're damn right I'm pissed off. We'll get to that. LSU takes the series from the University of Georgia. I told you, bro. I told Zach, it's the biggest weekend for Jay Johnson's career, and we said they were taking 2 of 3. Round of applause. But a huge weekend for LSU baseball. K-Do-D with another clutch win. Oh, and if you missed it, we got some good news. Let me tell you something. From an AYS perspective, it's been a huge news week. Huge news week. Hopefully we have news by Thursday on something. You will see what that is. NILSU. Also, we have taken over and I've been graciously asked by our good friends over at the Believe Podcast Network to take over the Believe in Saints podcast. We will be taking that over and doing more shows on Are You Serious Sports Network. Follow Believe in Saints, at Believe Saints on Twitter. So a lot more to come from there. So a huge weekend, a business weekend for all of us here at AYS. Zach and Pooh Bear are joining us. You know what? I got a pick I got to make. Of Pooh Bear and Zach, who am I picking? Because this is probably the last time I'll be able to hit this button on this show. I think I'm going Pooh Bear as leading producer of the week. Pooh Bear as leading producer of the week. Round of applause for Pooh Bear. Zach, step it up. Step it up, Zach. All right. See, I can't even. Is it bad when you laugh at your own jokes? Is it bad? Maybe it is. We got some super chats flying up in here like it's NILSU. Y'all hit me with one of them super chats. I think we got one from Crying Belly. Where's Crying's? But he sends us $4.99 via super chat. He says, "Did we forget about Will Wade?" What did Will Wade do this time? Did he do something with a joint bank account again? That god dog Will Wade. And we got $20 one from Brian Penton, it looks like. What's Brian saying? He sends just $20. Look at that dog. Them pointy ass ears. But I appreciate it though, Brian. That's a beautiful dog. Look at that scarf. I love it. He says Coach Mack is killing it in recruiting. I agree. We will touch on that this week. Maybe it's a part of our news this week. Hint, hint, wink, wink. All right. Let's get this thing started. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. By hitting the like and share. Share to some Facebook groups. A lot of you on Facebook right now listening to us. A lot of you lovely and absolutely beautiful people watching us on Facebook. Hit the like and share. If you're listening to us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We greatly, greatly appreciate that. If you're listening to us on the audio podcast platform, hit the like, share, and review as well. Oh, did I mention that I'm about to give away another $500? Oh, shucks. Here we go. I'm going to give you a challenge. I want AYS to get 10,000 followers on Twitter by the end of the week. If we get Believe in Saints, if the Believe in Saints Twitter gets 5,000, I'm giving away $500. Go follow us on RUC or AYS Sports on Twitter and Believe in Saints on Twitter for your chance to win $500. All right. Let's pay some bills around this thing. Zach, I forgot to tell you, and Pooh Bear, it's the second video, BetOnline and GM. So let's talk about our good friends over at BetOnline and GM Varno & Sons. We'll be right back. We got some news for you, LSU related, right after this. Our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas, casino, and poker games. It's easy to get started, so head on over to their website. Use betonline.ag. Use that promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. That's BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffinos sent you on by. Jason Brumfield says, breaking news, Jason Brumfield files a grievance against Ball Saxonville over signing bonus paid by Blake's $500. Yes, Manscaped was an amazing sponsor of the show. They continue to be to this date. Dorian says on Facebook, the deadline was May 1st. So let me talk about this transfer portal thing very quickly. Yes, the deadline for undergrad students was May the 1st, not for grad transfers. So I know that there's a lot of confusion behind all of that, but LSU can still, in the transfer portal for this season, go and get a grad transfer for this past season. Okay, just so everybody's aware with that. It doesn't go to next season, all that kind of stuff. At least that's the way that I read the letter of the law. That's how I read it. Now, whether that's how they intended it or whatever, we'll see. All right, if you missed it, we got some news to talk about. NFL draft and Honey Badger. They all kind of commingle with one another, right? So if you missed it, Tyrann Mathieu's heading home. Now, I'm pretty sure that all you that are watching this and listening to this, already know that the Honey Badger's coming back. You replaced, you want to know how crazy this is? The Saints replaced Marcus Williams' production on the field with a more athletic, in my opinion, better in coverage and tackler, and Tyrann Mathieu. Marcus Williams going to wherever he was going to go into, because it was never going to be the New Orleans Saints. The Saints go and get a 3-year deal, $33 million for Tyrann Mathieu. Now, I don't need to tell you what Tyrann Mathieu did for LSU and Louisiana. I don't need to tell you everything about Tyrann. You already know. If you're listening to the show, I'm not going to bore you with what you already know. Here's the biggest thing for me. He brings leadership in that locker room, more leadership, and he's going to help provide the Saints something in the state of Louisiana that, quite honestly, outside of Joe Burrow, no one else can do. There's not a singular football player. Maybe you can make the argument of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, but I don't. They're not TM7. It's time for him to come home. It was time for the Saints to bring someone like Tyrann Mathieu home. Sean Payton, it's for another day. We've talked about this religiously on my show. I think Sean Payton is petty. I think Sean Payton is arrogant. I think Sean Payton is a very damn good coach. I felt like he had a bias towards, there goes hiya. Did y'all see that? Did my producers see that? I mean, did you see the skills? I mean, the Muhammad Ali type quickness. That fly came out of nowhere, y'all. We're renovating the studio, so we've been having him around. He brings more things to you in Tyrann Mathieu, though. I bet y'all people on the audio podcast platform, though, when I be like, hiya, they're like, oh, shit, what just happened? Like, did Blake just Bruce Lee somebody? Tyrann Mathieu is one of, if not the biggest. Let me ask y'all this. Thumbs up or thumbs down? This is why I need Pooh Bear and or Zach to be a part of Twitter or on our Twitter page. And our YouTube page. We're going to do this. Is Tyrann Mathieu the biggest Saints pickup in free agency that you can remember in the last 10 years? Because if you ask me, I don't remember a bigger pickup. Like, guys, Tyrann Mathieu is a potential Hall of Famer. He's a defensive player of the year type candidate. So with all of that being said, I think he's the biggest. That's just my opinion. You don't, especially because of what he brings inside of this state. Former Heisman Trophy candidate. What he did in 2011 to lead LSU to a national title. Quite honestly, the best defensive player that LSU's seen in the last 30 years. Easily. It's not, guys, it's not close. It's not even remotely close. Can Tyrann Mathieu still play? You're damn right he can. But the off the field and in the locker room stuff is just as much as important, if not more important, than what he's doing on the field, in my opinion. But as they close that book, it does open. God diggity do. We got a $100 super chat. Bam shakalaka from Dylan Smith, my man. Oh. I love the $100, Dylan. I love the $100. But man, I don't want to read it though. Speaking of leadership, but you know, it's kind of funny. We're talking about Tyrann Mathieu and you put this in here. Elias Durant, this is what Dylan Smith says, if you're listening to us. Elias Durant Ricks got arrested today, and he sends us a $100 super chat. Y'all saw that, though. That God, that's not a fly. Man, that's a bee. How'd a bee get in this house? Look, man, I'm not going to do like what some LSU, if you noticed, we did not post anything, or I did not post anything about Elias Ricks getting arrested. I don't believe getting arrested is funny. I'm surprised we went this long with someone not saying it. Getting arrested is not funny. I hope for Elias Ricks' sake that everything's okay. I hope it's okay with him. I hope it's okay with the officer that was involved or officers that were involved. It's not funny to me, though, really. But you play, there's so many things I would like to say on a lot of ends, but it means nothing to me. But I very much appreciate the $100 super chat. Very, very much appreciate the $100 super chat. But with all of that being said, it leads me to this. Because the Saints did not draft a safety in this past weekend, obviously the Saints were able to go out and get Tyrann Mathieu, right? Like, if you're going to draft that position that high, you are going, if you would have drafted like a Kyle Hamilton, you're not getting Tyrann Mathieu. You're not going to do that. But it's good because LSU got their connection with the Saints. I'm buying the jersey. Here was the biggest news of the weekend. Ed Orgeron's got to come to the front. I know you don't want to talk about him. I know you want to move on. But we're going to get to this future team. We're going to get to Brian Kelly and why 9-3 is the goal. Guys, this weekend, LSU had 10 players drafted and 4 guys that went on. The guys that were undrafted went to UDFA, the undrafted free agency. They went to teams. There was a lot of times during the seasons, the last 2 years. These are some specific things that I heard. Let me read them to you. Just some random comments I pulled from old shows. Blake, the offensive line is ass. Blake, the offensive line sucks. Blake, you're a damn homer and you don't know shit. Blake, the offensive line sucks. Blake, the offensive line sucks. Blake, you're just a excuse apologist for the offensive line. Say that for the NFL. Say it for the guys that got drafted into the NFL like Ed Ingram. No, bro, you don't know what you're watching sometimes. When you run the football that good, Ty Davis Price, 1,000 yards in 8 games, guys. Your offensive line does good. That's not the only thing. The biggest number being 10. How many? So you have Georgia, the national champion that has 15 guys drafted, and then right below them is 10 with LSU. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever LSU has any business going 6-7 or 5-5. Zero. Ed Orgeron should be ashamed of himself. Everybody complaining or making excuses for Orgeron ever. You look like a complete idiot when you got this many players drafted, not just this season, but last season. So if you want to do transitive property, Zach or Pooh Bear, can you put up the PFF graphic for what next season's draft looks like? I don't know where the graphic is, but wherever that graphic is, we need to pull that up now. So if you missed this is from Pro Football Focus. So not only did you have 10 guys drafted a season ago, a top 3 pick in Derek Stingley, which I'm going to get to in just a minute. But read this list. Number 1, Bryce Young. Number 2, Will Anderson. Cool. Alabama. But let's go to 5, 7, and 9. Eric Gilbert, sure, he's not here, but he should have been. Thanks, Ed. Number 7, Jaquelin Roy. Remember last year when Ed Orgeron, the defensive line coach, didn't start number 7, Jaquelin Roy? So if you're listening to us on the audio podcast, I'll read it for you right quick. Number 1, Bryce Young. Number 2, Will Anderson. Number 3, Jalen Carter. Number 4, C.J. Stroud. Number 5, Eric Gilbert. Number 6, Tanner McKee. Number 7, Jaquelin Roy. Number 8, Will Levis. Number 9, Kayshon Boutte. Number 10, Antonio Johnson. 3 dudes, 3 former LSU Tigers are on that list. And we think that 9-3, 8-4 is something that Brian Kelly can't get to. You're GD right, he better. Blake, LSU doesn't have talent. Their offensive line sucks. They can't run the football. Guys, it's always been bullshit. It's always been bullshit. Neil Farrell. Guys, Andre Anthony, for crying out loud, has been here legitimately when President Obama got in office. You get that, right? Not literally. But it's been here since the Obama administration. He's drafted in the 7th round. Neil Farrell, Eld Ingram. Hell, and I was wrong on this, and I will admit it. Derek Stingley going 3rd overall to the Texans. I didn't think he would go that high. I was dead on wrong. But my God, you can't have this many draft picks. Guys, what if you're going to have 3 former first round, not just first round picks, top 10 picks, if this is what happens. Stacy Gilmore says, we will see. It's way too early to predict. This flies, or B is pissing me off. Stacy, no duh. No, I'm not trying to be rude, but no duh. But that's where people see. That's where people look at the talent. The simple fact, guys, listen to this. Listen to this. Jaquelin Roy wasn't even a starter in most games last year. He might go 7th to the goddamn Giants. And you're wondering about what Ed Orgeron, the D-line coach, he's so good with the defensive line. He didn't start a top 10 pick. Asking me freaking questions about what Ed was doing. If you're asking if I'm pissed off, yes. Brian, I swear to Christ alive. There's no reason for this to happen. Brian Kelly was in the stadium Saturday night. Now, if you're wondering what Saturday night was, Garth Brooks was in the building. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. Oh, wait, that's not Garth. You know what Garth sings. I don't need to tell you. Combat Rouge. White girls' panties were dropping, by the way. I mean, God, dropping everywhere. Them panties was dripping off. My panties came off too. Brian Kelly got a taste of what LSU and Death Valley was. One source told me today that Brian Kelly's meeting with some of his coaches, he said that it was exactly what he needed to see what it was like. Hey, big dog, you can't have talent like this and what talent like LSU is having and not go 8-4, 9-3 in your first season. Guys, it's unacceptable. I'm sorry. If it pans out like what LSU continues to do, is 7-5 a disappointment? Yeah. To me, at this point, yes. I don't want to over-exaggerate. Maybe some things can go wrong. But 7-5 to me with all this kind of talent, if you have 2 top 10 picks, yes. Especially when they're on different sides of the ball. You know who else has 2 top 10 picks on the other side of the ball? Bama. What if Bama wins the national title next year? What you going to do with that? It's the same reason. It's the same exact reason why you wanted Les Miles' ass fired. Remember, Blake, we got all this talent. We got all this talent all across the way. We got defensive tackles. We got linebackers. We got receivers. We just ain't got the quarterbacks. Well, shit, you do now. Blake, how do you know? With all due respect, Jalen Daniels, Miles Brennan, Garrett Nussmeier, Walker Howard are better than Danny Etling's old ass. Come on, bro. I heard that Jane Daniels ran a 40 with Danny Etling, actually ran an 80-yard an 80-yarder, I don't even know how you want to call that, and still beat Danny Etley. He ran there and back and there again and beat him. Come on, bro. You fired one of the winningest coaches in your program, in Les Miles, because of the talent that you had on that field every Saturday night. One thing Les Miles never did was he never went 6-7. He never went 5-5. Now, maybe that last year when he got fired, maybe so. But he never was that bad. Quite honestly, thank you, Joe Burrow. You know the TikTok video with Batman, and Commissioner Gordon says, "You know, I never thank you," and then Batman turns around and he goes, "You'll never have to." That's what Joe Burrow. You should put Ed Orgeron's face on Commissioner Gordon and Joe Burrow's face on Batman. You know what, Zach? I need that video. And you'll never have to. Thank God we didn't listen to Joe Burrow on one thing and give Ed Orgeron the lifetime contract. Good Jesus Christ. We'd be so screwed. All right. Let's get to a couple of these comments, guys. I don't know what order they're in. Just fire them in here. Fire these questions in here. Hopefully, it's not, I don't know. But, Zach, let's fire in some of these questions. Nurse Court, $4.99 super chat. Thank you. She says, just here to claim the hashtag Gramscaped hashtag. That's for you. All right, I love it. What else we got? Here? Dylan Smith with another $5. 105 bones. My man. Making it drip up in this thing. I mean, God, dog, Dylan got a new phone this week, he told me. Shit. That man working them turnarounds, boy. He said, my bad for bringing it up. No, you're talking about Elias Ricks. I'm not going to bash on Elias Ricks like everybody in LSU's media is doing. I'm not going to do it. As much as maybe I would want to, okay, I don't think getting arrested is anything funny. Now, let me say this. God dog it, I know that you're watching. If you've been arrested for something worse than weed in your life, you don't need to be pushing mugshots. Let me say that again. If you've been arrested for something much worse in your life, you don't need to be pushing mugshots. Okay, what else we got? Ryan Thibodeau always on. Man, why y'all always on Precious money? Everybody talking about pressure. Private school money this, private school money that. Pressure, let me hold $20 to tomorrow. All right, what else we got here, guys? Let's get some comments in here. Rob Boudreaux says, no, he doesn't. Brandon Reese says, Honey Badger, CD Deuce, Roby, Lattimore, Marcus May, Taylor, PJ Williams. That's a no-fly zone secondary. I agree with you there, Brandon. I fully agree that what the Saints have done in the secondary is top level. Their defense is going to be stout, man. The question is what does Chris Olave do? What does Penning do? What can Jameis do? Now, I'm going to throw this out here. I've already put in a request with the Believe in Saints podcast for Jameis Winston. I think we're going to get him. So, look, man, it is going. I'm going to leave that one for the first edition of the Believe in Saints podcast. We will talk Saints on AYS, but I'm going to leave it there. All right, what else we got here, Zach? Gino Vegas sends us some stars via Facebook. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Chris English says, also, don't forget 19 of the 22 starters in 2019 have been drafted, and York made 21 or 20. No, it's 21 of the 22 starters. They got that stat wrong. The only one that has not been drafted, Adrian McGee was not drafted, and he's no longer on the roster. Everybody, but Ed Ingram is Ed Ingram, but he didn't. I mean, I don't know if you want to call him a starter, guys. They're at 21 because Deculus got drafted. Neil Farrell started. I mean, there you go. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. All right, let's get to a couple more of these comments, and then we'll move on. Chris Barnhill says, hashtag Ask Blake. Today on Paul Feinbaum, Paul Feinbaum said the draft was a great indicator of why Edo was fired in Baton Rouge. You know, I don't agree with Paul Feinbaum on a lot, but yeah, I agree with him there. Ed Orgeron has zero business ever stepping back on as any head coach on any campus. Unless it's like Nichols or Northwestern State, there's no business. No business whatsoever, in my opinion. In my opinion, there's no business whatsoever. Okay. Let's do this. We're about 34 minutes in. We do got some more that we need to talk about. LSU baseball did take the series. We'll talk about the LSU draft recap, where the guys went, and go from there. Garth was amazing. I see all these comments. Kenny Futch said Coach McMahon building a roster. That he is. I'll save that for Zach and Pooh Bear there at the end. Coach McMahon and Kim Mulkey building rosters. Is that an indicator? You know what? I'm actually going to throw a curveball before we talk about LSU baseball. I'm going to talk about the sanctions that LSU is facing here in a minute. So we'll talk baseball and basketball here in just a second. So let's pay some bills around this thing. I'll give you some things I'm hearing around the sanctions. Let's talk about, though, our good friends over at Gramco and my good friend Carol Falls over at State Farm. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast, as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. I legitimately just went 7 rounds with a goddamn bee. I don't know if Zach and Pooh Bear saw what happened backstage, but dog, like, throwing some damn haymakers in this thing. But yes, we are trying to get into the, I've been saying this for such a long time, but man, just contractors, materials, stuff like that. We'll be in the new AYS studio sooner rather than later. We're trying for the end of May. So that's where we're at. We're almost there. Rob Boudreaux says, is Gramco in stores? No. Go to thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. They will be with us for the rest of the year. Ryan Thibodeau says, I'm seriously considering ordering Gramco. What's your weight, dog? Bro, I'm telling you. I don't mean this in a wrong way, but it's a fantastic product. I'm not bringing sponsors on this show if their product's not fantastic. I mean, I'm talking about amazing. There have been people that we have turned down because their product is ass. Pause, not literal ass. You know what I mean? Like I ain't T-Pain. You know, I ain't in love with a stripper. She bob and she rolled and she rolled. And I think Pooh Bear's going to quit though. I don't know if he's back yet or not. He stepped away for a quick second. He said, I think he's going to quit. That would be one of the worst days. That would be, you know, I would be ashamed of my damn self. Buck, Nook, if you buck, boy. Says longest my stay healthy on defense. Longest my stay. Can somebody help me here? Maybe nightmare for defense. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying, and yes, I agree. The Golden Boot Podcast. Is it Pooh Bear? Is it Ant? Is it big old forehead Daniel? They see me rolling. Says, wait, you had ass sponsors? I wish. All right, let's get this thing going. Let me throw this out there. This is an opinion, okay? If it was sourcing, we would do something like this. But we didn't do that, okay? Let me give an opinion and let me give you some things that I've heard. Haven't run them down. Coach Matt McMahon, the hashtag McMahon Makeover, has been doing some seriously good things in recruiting. I still believe LSU is going to face sanctions. I still believe that LSU is going to see more than likely, if not possible, a postseason ban. However, there is things in Congress and the legislation that may prohibit this. Guys, this investigation's going on too long. Javonte Smart, who this investigation originally went around, has been in the league for an entire year. I don't mean this in an insensitive way, but the Wade Sims case has been tried and punishment has been delivered before the NCAA, a murder trial. Something that's actually, and I'm not saying that the sanctions that Will Wade did aren't serious, but something that's ultimately as serious as murder was concluded before the NCAA could wrap up their conclusion. Do you understand what I just said? Wade Sims, his murderer, was tried and convicted before the NCAA has rolled on a sanction for LSU. I don't know what Matt McMahon's telling these guys. I really don't. Hey, we're going to appeal this. We're not going for a postseason ban. We're going for the jugular. I just don't know it. My opinion, this could all change. My opinion is LSU still sees a postseason ban. Maybe I pray to God, please, sweet 6-pound, 8-ounce, sweet baby Jesus. I hope that I'm wrong. I just can't see it. Now, if they don't, then Scott Woodward's a damn genius. He's a genius. You got to give it to him. So with that being said, there's not a lot there. There is some chatter, though, that Matt McMahon, how do I want to say this? Not only had to I'm going to leave it alone. No, I'm not. Will Wade, bro, clean yourself. Clean your act up. I'll leave it there. I'll just leave it there. LSU baseball did take 2 of 3 this weekend. I told Zach last week that, and I told you here on the show, it was the biggest weekend for LSU baseball in Jay Johnson's career. You had to take 2 of 3. Now, clutch Cade Doughty came through. Cade came through, man. Dylan Cruz came through. And the more that we get into the season, the more and more that we see that this bullpen is quite honestly, and at times has been your backbone, right? Like the thing that we would worry about the most has been your backbone. Outside of Dylan Cruz yesterday, your pitching staff kept you in that game because Dylan Cruz almost won it for you, and K. Doty delivered, but your pitching staff keeps you in the games. It's funny because I told Matt Trent, and Zach's gonna laugh at this. I told Matt Trent Thursday or Wednesday night on the show that Jordan Thompson needed to trim his hair and he needed to cut his hair. Nobody was talking about it. Remember? Everybody's like, oh, Blake's just going crazy. He's saying something stupid. Sources. The man shaved his head. Don't tell me we don't have impact on this show. But if you're listening to me, he didn't do it because of me. But he shaved that mustache too. I mean, my Jesus Christ. And did y'all see Hayden Travinsky's Doctor Strange goatee? By the way, Friday night, it's going down in this biatch. The multiverse is coming to town. I'll be in that thing. Boy, Graham code up. And in 3D with Gramco? Dog, it's going to be lit. It's going to be lit. Michael John says, Blake insinuating Wade is being petty. Color me shocked. Wade is arrogant and shady. I'm not surprised. Will Wade is being extremely petty to Matt McMahon behind the scenes. Will better be careful. Your pear-head looking ass. So yes, you better be careful, Will, because what you really don't want is somebody in the media to talk about the stories that we know of you or what you're doing around Fat Boys. And I'm not talking about little boy, Fat Boys Pizza. Anywho, I think that LSU baseball had a great weekend. They have to continue. Now the Vandy series does not look as dire as it did at season's begin. Now you could take another 2 out of 3. Guys, this team is going to host a regional if they take 2 of 3. That's where we're at now. And if that's so, Jay Johnson had a better first season now than what Smoke Laval had, Paul Maneri had, and Skip Burtman. In fairness, Jay was left an abundance amount of talent, not a pitching staff. And look, Coach Kelly, who is over this staff, you got to give him credit, man. You got to give him credit. And Pooh Bear brings this up in here. The Vandy series may be a dire for Vandy. I agree, especially to host. They'll get into one. If they go 13-17 inside the conference, they're getting in. It's Vandy. LSU got in last year at 13-17. They're going to get in. But I agree with Pooh here. Vandy's amongst the ropes. They're amongst the ropes. I heard you from a mile away, dude. I heard you from a mile away. I heard you running, screaming, telling mommy no. Now walk your pretty butt back there. Give mommy a hug. Mommy's having a baby. What did you do? What's wrong? Tell him what's wrong. For everyone listening, that's my son, Ben. He is getting bad. This is exactly why we need the new studio. If you missed it, that's the reason I stopped, was because he literally kicked the door in. The door just came off. He literally drop kicked it. Oh, big brother problems, bro. I love them to death. Thank God for locked doors in the new studio, though. But yeah, All right, let's do this. Let's bring up some of these comments. I see Holden Lee here says, Jay Johnson has got more hate than he should have. Man has done a great job with a lack of a true number one guy. I got to be honest. I don't know if you don't move Blake Money back in the pen. I don't know who you bring in. I don't know who you would bring up. But, guys, Blake Money's getting rocked. Let it rock. Let it. Y'all remember that Lil Wayne rock? Y'all remember when Lil Wayne tried to get in the rock game? Let it rock. Let it rock. Lil Wayne, dog. Come on, bro. Hall & Oates, a big Alabama fan, says hashtag vasectomy. Jesus. It's a little harsh, don't you think? It's actually pretty harsh. Now, you better be careful because my mama going to come up in here and she got them hands, dog. She got them hands. Next question. Look at this Gemini. Look at this Gemini saying, can we talk about the Cowboys? Can we talk about what's going on with Kelvin Joseph? Y'all don't want to talk about that, though, do you? Bro, you know what, Jerry? Never mind. I'm going to be. Jerry Jones is the guy that Cat Williams all warned us about, the white guy that you call when you get in jail. He murdered who? That's Jerry Jones. All right, the bee's back. Pooh and Zach, fire in some of these questions for us if you don't mind. Chris said pearhead ass, laughing face emojis. Chris, you so great. Look at Chris's chain. Chris got to get the big chain so his neck stands out. That's probably the best joke I made all night, boy. Tigers Avenue podcast, Zach said, love the homers. He said, love the homers, but they got to have more clutch hits outside of K. Doty and string it together more. I agree. And look, Zach's right here. Look, literally in the clutch, arguably to date, the biggest game in LSU's season, Dylan Cruz was the one that was leading you. The 2 home runs, you got to get base hits with runners in scoring position. You got to get runners in scoring position. This team does not have speed either. They got some, but my God. Whoo. Chris said, that's a bet. Well, I mean, look at your chain, Chris. It makes your neck stand out. It's like you get curtains to match the drapes. All right. Pierce said, Lee says the new mascot is to be. Yeah. All right. Let me pay some bills around this thing. I want to bring Pooh Bear and Zach in here. We'll finish out the show with them. Want to talk about our good friends over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Guys, everything that you need, literally everything that you need, DWI, successions, real estate titles, they do it all. Nobody is better. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffinos sent you on by. Our good friends over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. It's 225-937-7220. Tell them Blake sent you on by. All right, we got our producers in here. Zach, Pooh Bear, do you think the necklace on Chris's profile picture makes his neck stand out?
I don't know if I want to comment. Hey, all I'm saying is, can we get a profile pic outside your car, man? Like, what your profile pics inside your car? Like, come on, man.
I love you, Chris.
You gotta say it, Pooh. You can't just leave it going. You gotta say it. All right, guys. Huge weekend this week. Ty Davis Price, Derek Stingley, Ed Ingram. A lot of these guys, we had 10 guys drafted. I'm pissed off at Ed Orgeron, quite honestly. I know that y'all heard the rant What says y'all? What do y'all think about this past weekend with the draft?
It's telling. We talked about it a little bit last night. Daniel, he wanted to go on a rant, but he said, "Nah, I'm gonna cool it. I'm gonna cool it."
Shout out Daniel. Thank you for letting me have that one. But shout out Daniel.
Yeah, it was. When you look at the graphic of like most drafted players, I mean by school, and you've got the national championship, winner with 15, and the next best is a team that went 6 and 7. It's let's stop with the we got rid of Ed after 2 years because we didn't like him. We got to stop that.
Pooh, he's a horrible coach. I mean, he won it. Maybe not a horrible coach. He won it, and the wheels fell off.
He lost that fire.
Right. And look, you guys know I'm not political, and I've said this on the show 1,000 times. The lack of awareness during the protest is where he went downhill.
Yeah.
Love it. Agree with it. I don't care about your politics or what, he should have done it because Nick Saban was on the forefront. Cancel practice. They won a national title. And I think that's the point. Zach, correct. What says you about this weekend in the draft?
Man, I have to agree. I mean, honestly, I didn't really think we would see that many go, especially after seeing the 2 seasons that we've had and the product
Zach,
on the field.
I gotta rudely interrupt you. There is a 6'3", 287-pound, very handsome young man that told you to be prepared. Who was that?
It may have been somebody by the name of Blake Rufino.
Shit. Continue.
So, with the product on the field, it just goes to show it really raises a lot of questions, like what was going on the last 2 years. But it didn't surprise me. It surprised me, but it didn't surprise me because LSU is constantly producing talent. #NFLSU. So, it was shocking, but it was at the same time.
What else was the biggest thing to y'all this weekend? I mean, look, I thought that it was the biggest baseball weekend in Jay Johnson's career. I mean, obviously Garth Brooks, but it was a big weekend. What was the biggest? Look, I think for me, there's 2 things. The number one thing outside of sports was Brian Kelly seeing 102,000, right? Like, hey man, now you know how loud that thing gets. But to y'all, what was the biggest thing this past weekend?
For me, it was probably the basketball. There's a lot of great things this weekend, but for me, it was basketball. And we talked about this on our show. For us, it raises some questions with the sanctions. Like, at the beginning, it was looking pretty bad. I think a lot of LSU fans a lot of fans, period, tend to overreact a little bit to any news that they get. And I think the overreaction was, oh man, this is, LSU basketball is about to tank for the next 3 to 5 years. And, there's a lot more optimism now with all the guys that McMahon's bringing in and the way he's changing the culture and completely overhauling this roster and his staff. It's looking a lot more positive. Maybe it's just 1 year postseason, man. I don't know.
What about you, Pooh?
I'm trying to figure out, does LSU have a civil engineer program? Because there's got to be a way to design better traffic for game day and stuff like that. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out. Let me throw it in the universe there so somebody can take that.
Elon Musk talked about it. He talked about tunnels in LA. But governments are not willing to do it. I'm not going there. Garth Brooks did something that LSU can't do. Keep somebody there for all 4 quarters and overtime. Guys, people were leaving the Auburn game. Okay, and so when you're able to do that, it's a woman thing too. Men ain't going to leave if the woman says we ain't going. It's just a cold, hard fact. And at least I'm not, because I know where my butter gets breaded. You know what I mean? So I ain't leaving. But look, in all seriousness, Garth Brooks, the call in Baton Rouge, it was insane, man. It was just – then he's going to Ben Hill Griffin. Guys, he's going to be in Florida this weekend. I mean, this guy's selling out hundreds of that. I mean, he made $12 million in a blink of an eye the other night. Blink. I mean, it's insane. So
100,000 people in Ben Hill, 15 teeth.
Do you think
Come
that there would be
holler.
more in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium or in Alabama?
Oh, teeth?
Yes, teeth.
Like real teeth?
Yeah.
Because Florida may have real teeth. I mean, they have more real teeth. Alabama's going to show up. They're going to have a bunch of teeth. No.
All right. My
Shout
name
out to my
is
neighbors.
Shout out farmersonly.com. Good show tonight, guys. Fantastic. We'll see y'all again soon. We do have a game tomorrow, so y'all know what that means. Either we'll go before or not at all. But we'll see y'all soon. Big news coming around the corner. LSU, hurry up with my paperwork. See y'all soon. Peace out, Girl Scouts.